This is a Brooklyn-bound 2 train. The next stop is Wall Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
July 4th weekend represents an important milestone for my Substack as well as the podcast. Over 200 episodes later, I wanted to celebrate with everyone and offer a 40% discount on the annual billing plan for the premium content. Now, if you've been following me prior to the podcast, you'll know, in addition to the writing, I've always wanted to start a podcast because I couldn't find a financial product or podcast that discusses the markets without going into politics and without advertising all over the place. And typical financial podcasts last over an hour. So I wanted to, first I was looking for a content creator that had one that, summed everything up in 10 to 15 minutes every day that I can listen to on my dog walk, on my exercise, or just with a cup of coffee in the morning. And I could not find it. And I felt I could do a better job. So I stopped, pausing and delaying myself because I had every excuse in the world not to start. However, with your support of both the paying and free subscribers who have helped grow this channel and this podcast, I want to thank everyone. And for those that want to experience the paid content, which has both written form and long form unlocked podcast content, I would like to offer this 40% off, which comes to basically 37 cents per day. This promotion will be valid until midnight of July 4th, and it will be only the annual billing. So it will come to $144 billed annually, which basically, if you don't have a calculator, comes to $12 per month, or $2.77 per week, or 39 cents per day. Thank you for all for supporting the content, the Substack and podcast thus far, and I hope to see you on the premium edition. So with that, let's get into the podcast. Welcome back, everyone. Happy Monday. Hope you all had a great weekend. This is Not Your Advisor with NYU Grad on Monday, June 24th. Let's jump right into the session. So looking at breadth, we had 322 new highs, 166 new lows. Looking at the NASDAQ, we had 37 new highs versus 71 new lows. 61% of stocks were advancing versus 36% declining. 46% of stocks were below its 50-day moving average, and 36% of stocks were below its 200-day moving average. Now, the Dow was the strongest of the bunch, but the NASDAQ closed down 192 points, down 1.09%, near the lows of the day. Same thing with the S&P. We closed near the lows of the day, down 16.75 or 0.31%. The summary of the session was rotation, basically. So you had NVIDIA as well as semiconductors selling off pretty hard. This is now the third straight session that NVIDIA has sold off. The Mag 7 were kind of on par, like nothing burgers. Like I'll give you an example. Microsoft was down 0.47%. Apple was up 0.3%. Google was up 0.29%. Amazon was down 1.86%. But when you take a look at the general gist of the session, it was rotation out of semiconductors and risk and into the Dow 30 names, basically looking for safety. Taking a quick look at the sector analysis for the day, technology led to the downside, down almost 2%, down 1.9%. The leading sector for the day was energy, up 2.4%, utilities up 1.3%, consumer defensive up 1.09%, Financials up 1%, real estate up 0.6%, healthcare up 0.6%, basic materials up 0.4%. Now, let's keep digging and peeling this onion here. So around 2:30, I put out a private chat for the paying members, and I'll share that with everyone here. It is a screenshot of the S&P futures contract, ES, and you can clearly tell in the hourly time frame that we've been climbing higher and higher and creating new balance areas. That's why you guys should really focus on auction market principles. I've posted podcast and written content in the past about it. It's in the Binge NYU Grad header navigation. You can find that there. But I posted at 2:30ish that we're either going to bust out or break down from this balance area. And when we finished the day, we actually closed below that balance area, which is not good. And the true strength index barely got above zero and started to head down again. So taking a look at just why I'm saying it's rotation, the Dow was up the most, and you had SMCI, Dell, NVIDIA all down more than 5% today. And then the rest of the Mag 7 just kind of sitting, doing nothing. NVIDIA is now below the pre-split price. So everyone who's bought NVIDIA on the pre-split news is now in the red. That's important to note. If we go any lower, you might see accelerated selling from those that bought at 140, 135, at 130, at 125, at 120, etc. So taking a look at what was strong today, you had DJT, the Donald Trump media company, up 21%. SBIT, which is short Bitcoin, was up 15.3%. Affirm Holdings was up 12.8%. BITI, which is short Bitcoin, is up 7.93%. Rivian was up 6.6%. Carvana was up 5.7%. Restoration Hardware up 3.3%. PaySafe up 3%. MongoDB was up 2.8%. Zeta Global Holdings was up 2.1%. CarMax was up 2.1%. AI was up 2%. And KRE Regional Banks was up 2%. What was weak, this list is pretty long. As you saw, that the NASDAQ had more losers than winners versus new highs versus new lows. You had Bitfarms down 8.8%, SMCI down 8.6%, IBIT, which is long Bitcoin, was down 7.7%. Bitcoin might be losing 60,000 here. MicroStrategy down 7.5%, NVIDIA 6.6%, Coinbase down 6%, ARM down 5.7%, Qualcomm down 5.5%, Dell 5.1%, IREN 4.8%, FNGU down 4.77%, DraftKings 4.72%, Broadcom down 4%, Zillow down 3.97%, Riot down 3.5%, SMH down 3.4%, ASML Holdings down 3.3%, the Semiconductor Index down 3%, DoorDash down 2.7%, Natural Gas Futures down 2.7%, Birkenstock down 2.7%, Marathon Digital 2.7%, Roblox down 2.6%, Uranium 2.5%, Netflix 2.4%, Lam Research 2.4%, Wayfair 2.4%, Las Vegas Sands 2.3%, Kura Sushi down 2%, Yext down 2%, and Amazon down 1.86%. So with that, for free members, you should upgrade, because this deal is, I've only done this once before, and that was for the Eclipse, and that's not happening for another 20 years. So I don't know when I'm going to do this discount again. This was simply to celebrate the annual anniversary of starting the podcast. The link is in the show notes. You can also go to nyugrad.substack.com/July 4, and that'll bring you there for that 40% off on the annual billing. Continue to watch the Mag 7 yields, economic data. There are data coming out this week. Just to give you kind of a rundown, you have consumer confidence on Tuesday, some Fed speakers, new home sales on Wednesday, initial jobless claims and GDP on Thursday. And then on Friday, you have PCE index, which will kind of show the overall inflation mood. So I will see the free members after the Tuesday session. Paying and premium members, please stay on. I'd like to go over some charts with you today. That's my train.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.